Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the show. If you ever want to check these out later, you can find them at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. Jumping into the show today, looking at some rough delays on I-12 westbound from O'Neill to Jubin Road. Please keep that in mind. It has, of course, caused some delays at 190 4-H Club Road and River Road as they intersect there on the western side of Denham Springs. Looking at some heavy delays in and around the high schools, especially the larger ones on the western side of the parish as folks drop their kids off at school. Minor delays on 64 heading into Central with heavy delays on Greenville Springs. It's currently 54 degrees. You're looking at a warming trend through Wednesday at least. It's going to be 74 your high, 62 your overnight low. Going to be looking at those mid-70s during the day, mid to high 60s during the evening through Wednesday. On Thursday, looking at some AM showers, going to be bringing in some cooler weather. It's going to be getting back down to the 50s and 30s for a few days, so please keep that in mind. Over the weekend, a new arrest was made in the Dennis and Cynthia Perkins case. Miss Melanie B. Curtin, she is 41 of Denham Springs. She is currently in the Livingston Parish Detention Center. No bond currently, or is being held without bond. She is held on counts of first-degree rape and video voyeurism. So she was an accomplice involved in all of that with Dennis and Cynthia Perkins. Dennis and Cynthia recently began their divorce proceedings and, of course, will be facing court at some time in the future. There was an interesting fire. It's strange to call a fire interesting. It was tragic. An entire home was engulfed in flames. Photos provided by Fire Protection District 2 showed that last night, or really the early morning hours of Monday, a home on Lowbell Road near Springfield was engulfed in flames, complete loss. However, firemen and fire investigators after the fire noticed that scriptures had been written on the studs and that the fire, for the most part, had missed them. So they were still very clear, very legible. We have pictures on our website, www.livingstonparishnews.com/breaking news. There were no injuries reported in that fire. Nickens Lake, which is going to be the area for the future site of Denham Springs area high school number 2. It is off 4-H Club Road, about 4 miles south of where 4-H passes underneath I-12. It is looking to expand again. Currently, 230 plats have been approved and are constructing out in that area. Nickens Lake, which is a DSLD subdivision, is looking for 57 new lots here in 2020. 150 acres right next to the subdivision is dedicated by the school board for a new high school when it's necessary. 15 acres are also for a school within Nickens Lake itself, maybe a junior high, maybe an elementary. I'm not entirely sure, but the land is available and it is ready. That goes not against, but it's not necessarily, it looks like they're going to sell. That would be the school board is going to sell their land off of Cook Road, which they've had for years. It was a site large enough for an elementary school, junior high, and a high school. However, with the way people have moved in, where they've moved in, and that kind of thing, it looks more lucrative for them to hold on to that land for a while and then sell it. They bought it cheap, and we'll be looking to invest that money back into the school system. Speaking of the school board, both the school board and the parish council will meet Thursday. The parish council agenda is not yet out. However, the school board is out, and they will be discussing a $24 million bond issuance in District 22. We've reached out to the school board. We'll be getting you that information hopefully tomorrow. Also over the weekend, Miss Abigail O'Donoghue, we've talked about her a couple of times. She is a high jumper at LSU, former Denham Springs High School Yellow Jacket. She now holds the record at LSU for the high jump, for the 6 foot 2 inches. She hit it at the Razorback Invitational. If you are looking for a video, she and her mother used to be a high jumper at LSU, did an interview together with Mr. William Weathers. You can find it www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. It was a real good interview. Speaking of sports, tons and tons and tons of scores are currently online. You can go check that out again at www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. Lots of basketball occurred on Friday. A couple other, events on Saturday. Please go check that out. Speaking of specific scores, the Denham Springs Yellow Jacket soccer team pulled out a tie against Zachary on Friday night, which keeps their Division 3-1 title hopes alive for the time being. That's kind of been a hump that the Jackets have tried to get over. Suffered a tough setback to Catholic, which kind of made the journey to that district title a little more difficult. The tie against Zachary, they had a setback against Catholic, made that journey a little more difficult. Now this tie against Zachary still have destiny in their own hands, but it made it a little tougher. So they're going to be looking for to close out the season strong heading into the playoffs. It's sort of interesting. These schools all around Louisiana are trying to get involved in early voting. What is early voting? They are breaking student bodies up into grades 9 through 12, 6 through 8, 5 through 8, and 2 through 4 to vote on what's called the Reader's Choice Awards. So they get these kids to go out, bring them to the library. They offer 10 books, and they have to vote on the best, 1 through 10. And it gets them involved in the voting process. It teaches them, there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, and you got to make a choice. Some kids go in, and they know. They hit those buttons, and 10 seconds later, they're done. For some kids, it takes a little bit longer, but they do. Getting them involved in the voting process, showing them it's not that big of a deal. You can go out and vote, you can defend your vote, and that sort of thing. So again, the Louisiana Young Readers' Choice Awards just wrapped up last week, trying to get kids out to do a little bit of quote-unquote early voting to get them used to that process, get them engaged in that process, and get them to start thinking about, well, what do I like, what do I not like? What was good about this book? What is not good about this book? Sort of the things that we as adults have to think about when we go vote. So great program, trying to get those kids involved in an early age in voting, because a lot of kids are eligible to vote before they even leave high school. Once you're 18, you can vote. So it's a good program. Again, that's the Louisiana Young Readers' Choice Awards. Excuse me. One last time around the bend with your traffic. O'Neill Lane, delays start on I-12 westbound. They're backed up to Jubin Roads. Tough morning this morning with traffic. It is a pretty morning, though. That's causing delays at 4H Club Road, River Road, and 190 in Denham Springs. Of course, minor delays on 64 heading into Central, with some heavier delays on Greenville Springs if you take a left right there. Still looking at some delays in and around Denham Springs High School, Live Oak High School, as well as Walker High School, as those kids start getting to school, getting to class, as well as those parents finish dropping some of the younger kids off before leaving for work. Currently 54 degrees. It's going to warm up to 74 today. 62 your overnight low. You're looking at a couple of days of warmer weather. 60s at night, 70s during the day. And then Thursday morning, you're looking at some heavier, not heavy rains, but it's going to be consistent rain that's going to come in bands, bringing in some colder weather that'll last through the weekend, probably 50s during the day, 30s overnight. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Remember, we are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print. We are online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We have an app to go with that website as well. Please remember, we do upload these shows to www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. So if you ever miss a show or you go on vacation, you don't really want to listen to me on vacation, don't blame me for that. You can always come back, catch back up. We try to keep these shows, unless we have a guest, somewhere between 8 to 12 minutes. So not too hard. Takes about an hour to catch back up if you missed a couple of days or a week. And we appreciate you, as always, watching us or listening to us. Thank you for that. And I am going to check out. Hope you have a great Monday. Remember, it is going to warm up today, but it should be a pretty day. The sun's going to come. A few clouds, but few clouds. But the sun's going to come out a little bit today, and we will catch you tomorrow. I'll be right back here in the booth, 7:30. Have a great day.